Good morning, students. In this lecture, we will discuss about the applications of diode. In our previous lectures, we have studied about the diode, what is the basic working principle of our diode and how diode will working. Now today we will see how diode is work as a rectifier, as a Zener diode, light emitting diode, and photodiode. So with the slight modifications of a general diode, we can make a different types of diode and used in different applications. So our first application is the rectifier. So first of all, we will see what is the rectifier. So rectifier basically a electrical device that convert our alternating current into DC current. So that is basically if you have given the input your alternating current AC, so that rectifier will convert that AC signal into DC signal. So now we will see what about the rectifier and how we will make the rectifier. First of all, before starting the rectifier, we will see what about the half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier and bridge rectifier. So these are the basic types of our rectifier. First of all, we will say about the half wave rectifier. So what about the half wave rectifier and how it will works? In half wave rectification, if we have seen that in AC signal, we have a positive half cycles and negative half cycles. So when we talking about the half wave rectifier, mean only half of the cycle means either positive half cycles or negative half cycles will be converted into the DC signal and other half will be blocked. Means if you are converting, so always positive half cycles will be received in the output of your rectifier or either negative half cycles we can receive in the output of your rectifier. Means only half of the input waveform reaches at the output and other half signals will be blocked. So that is basically called as a half wave rectification. So this is a basic block diagram. In further, we will see how it will work out. Okay, what is the basic working principle of our rectifier? So before starting our rectifier, we have seen in our previous diagram, there is a diode, there is a AC signal and there is a load, DC load is connected. Means diode is work as a rectifier. So first of all, in previous lectures, we have seen what is the basic working principle of our diode. So now here we will see that in diode, when we start to working with a diode, so there are two types of biasing in our diode. Either we can give the forward biasing to our diode or we can give it to the reverse biasing. So first of all, we will see what will happens when we have given the forward biasing. So here we have to see that is the forward biasing. So now what will happens here? In forward biasing, your P type terminal is connected to P and N type is N terminal. So now what will happens? The depletion layer width will be narrow when you are doing the forward biasing. And due to this narrow bandwidth, what will happen? These positive supply will repel the holes and these holes are crossing to the depletion layer and reaches to the negative terminal because this is the natural tendency of holes to reach to the negative terminal. So due to this, here flow of current will start. So what will happen in forward biasing of a diode, it will offer a very low resistance. Okay, so it will work as a short circuit, means it will conduct and through diode your current will be passes to the load. But when we reverse bias our diode, so now what will happen in our reverse bias conditions? In reverse bias conditions, the depletion layer width will be increases and due to this large width of depletion layer there is no flow of current and it will offer a very high resistance as we have seen in our previous lecture. So what will happen here? It will offer a very high resistance, means it will work as a open circuit. So here there is a basic tendency when we are using a diode as a rectifier in positive half cycles, when it will be forward bias. When diode will forward bias, it will conduct and through this current will flow. But when we have reverse bias this diode, it will offer a very high resistance and diode is work as a open circuit. So here again we have to see, suppose this is the AC signal and we have applied this AC signal to this transformer. So now what will happen in secondary winding? In positive half cycles, the upper part of your winding is positive and lower part will be the negative. So this type of supply will forward bias your diode, and due to conduction of our diode we receive the current at the across the load resistance RL. But when negative half cycles occurred, the supply of in secondary winding upper part will be the negative and lower part will be the positive, so in opposite direction. So now what will happen, these diode will be reverse biased and you will not receive any type of signals at the output. So there will, we can't receive any type of signal in our across the load. So only when our positive half cycles occurred we will receive the output across the R. So this type of rectification in which you have received the unidirectional waveforms, you can see here you will receive only, means only positive half cycles you have received at the output. So what will happen, these output signals are unidirectional, okay, but not complete cycles will be converted into the DC current. So this type of rectification we have called it as a half wave rectifier. Now, if we are talking about the half wave rectifier, what will happens there? We have to see that what about the maximum value of our signal. So Vm is the maximum or peak value. We can, using the Vm, we can calculate the VDC, we can calculate the VRMS, and gamma is the ripple factor. So here we will see again how we can calculate the RMS value. So before starting these calculation, we can also see what is the ripple factor. So basically, if we are talking about the ripple factor, it is a ratio of AC component into the DC component in the output voltage. Means what will happen here? Because you are not receiving the completely DC current, because your DC current is the pulsating DC, means there is a fluctuations, there is a small amount of AC component is included in your DC signal. So this is called as a ripple factor, and we can calculate how much amount of your AC component is mixed with the DC component in your output voltage. So this factor, by using which we can calculate this parameter, this is called as a ripple factor. And ripple factor in full wave rectifier is the half of the half wave rectifier. Means if we are talking about the full wave rectifier, it is better than to the half wave rectification, because in half wave rectification there is a double of AC component in the output voltage. So now again we want to calculate the DC and value and ripple factor of current. So how you can calculate? So first of all you have to calculate the IDC, DC current or DC voltage. So you can calculate this DC voltage by using this formula. So in this formula we are taking the 1 upon 2 pi, means we are considering the complete whole 1 cycles. So that is the duration of 2 pi, and only half of the duration we are receiving our output, and in second half of the duration our output voltage is 0. So this is the factor, and we can calculate this Im upon pi. If we are talking about the VDC, so that is equal to Vm upon pi. So by using VRMS and VDC value, we can calculate the ripple factor of our wave rectifier. In further, we can also say this value. If we are talking about the RMS value of half wave rectifier, so that is equal to Vm by 2. So that is a VRMS and VDC value which we can use in our half wave rectification, and by VRMS and VDC value we can calculate the ripple factor of our half wave rectifier. Now we will move to the efficiency of a half wave rectifier. So what about the efficiency? So we can see that efficiency is the ratio between the output DC power and the input DC power. So what about the formula? So basically formula of your efficiency, that is equal to the power at DC, means power at the output and power at the input. So that is equal to PDC, means power at the DC voltage and power of the AC input signals. So ratio of both, that is equal to efficiency. And when we calculate the efficiency, so efficiency of our half wave rectifier is equal to the 40.6, means because we are converting only half of the input signal into the DC current, and second half of the signal will be rejected or clipped off. So this is the basic reason for low efficiency of our half wave rectifier. Now we will see the efficiency of full wave rectifier, half wave rectifier. So that is the equation. Now we will move to the full wave rectification. So what about the full wave rectification? So if we are talking about the single phase AC supply, so that is basically requirement of full wave rectification is center taped transformer. Means in this type of rectification, designing a full wave rectifier, we have to require the center taped transformer, and here two diodes are connected back to back, and this, by using these two components, we can design a full wave rectifier. So again we will see in this diagram, you can see here these are the diode D1 and D2, and these are the transformer. So now what will happens here, we are working in this method. So here two diodes are connected here, and we are using the center taped transformer, and the center point of your transformer is connected to the load resistance, and this is the connected to the, these D1 and D2 are connected to the back to back. So but now what will happens in this type of full wave rectifier, so here we will see that this is the complete cycles AC signal of, and we will give this AC signal to the input of transformer. Now in positive half cycle, what will happens here? The upper part is positive and lower part is negative. So what will happens? This with respect to center, the diode D1 will be forward bias, but what about the D2? Since lower part is the negative supply. So what will happens here? It will be reverse bias. So only diode D1 will conduct, and since D1 is conducted and D2 will be offer a very high resistance, so it will work as a open circuit. So now here what will happens here? The current passes through the resistance R through this path. Now, in negative half cycles, what will happens here? The upper part of your transformer is minus supply, and lower part will be the indicated as a positive supply. So now what will happens here? Diode D1 is reverse biased, and now diode D2 is forward biased. So it will be conducted, and your current will be passes through the load resistance by using this circuit. So again your current is passes through resistance R, and direction of current is same as the previous half cycles. So we can see that we can achieve the unidirectional current in all the half cycles. Means what will happen here? This is a full wave rectification, mean in positive half cycles and in negative half cycles. In both the cycles, we can achieve the DC current by using the diode, alternating use of diode D1 and D2. So this is the full wave rectification. So that is basically we have to require. There is another process of full wave rectification, because if we are using the two diodes, so in this diagram, in previous diagram, we have to require the center taped transformer, and it is very costly device for using that, and overall circuit may be designed as a very high cost. So if we want to reduce our cost, so what you have to done, you have to again take a normal transformer, and you have used the four diodes. So by using these four diodes, or by using the, we can make these four diode, connected these four diode as a bridge, as we have to see in our bridge balancing circuit. So that is also work in a bridge rectifier, so we can arrange it as a bridge, and at a time two diodes are working simultaneously. So first of all D1 D2 is work, and after then D3 and D4 are works, and again we can receive our AC signal, convert our AC signal into DC signal, and in complete the cycles, either it will be positive half cycles, either it will be the negative half cycles, we will receive the current in the output circuits. So that is the basic block diagram of our full wave rectifier with bridge rectifier. So this is the general shape of our bridge rectifier circuit. Now we will see the different formulas. So how you can calculate the efficiency or ripple factor by using the full wave rectifier. So first of all, we will calculate VDC and VRMS value. So if we want to calculate the VDC, so in this formula we can calculate VDC. So we will take the 1 upon pi, 0 to pi upon, again what, Vm cos omega mt. So that is the value of V, 2 times of your half wave rectification, and that is the Vp by root 2, that is the VRMS value. So by using these two values, so you can see here, this is the output is, and this is a full wave rectification. So same thing is in our bridge rectifier. There is also a VDC and both are equal. So how you so we can calculate our the ripple factor. So this is the basic diagram. At a time, two diode will be working. We have to apply the AC input and we can receive the DC output voltage. So this is the RMS value, I max pi divided by root 2. So same thing will be the VRMS value, that is V max divided by root 2. So by using this formula, we can calculate our values, RMS value. And same thing is here. If you want to calculate the ripple factor, so formula is same. Ripple factor formula, that is gamma, that is equal to root of IRMS upon IDC square minus 1. So IRMS value you can calculate Im by root 2, IDC value Im by pi. So that is the basically, if you are want to calculate the ripple factor, that is equal to 1.211. This indicates that ripple content in the output are 1.211 times the DC component. Now we will switch to the, so means ripple factor is very high. In half wave rectifier is a poor converter. So if ripple factor is high, so we can call it as it is a poor converter of AC to DC. Now what will happen in full wave rectification? In full wave rectification, we can again want to calculate the ripple factor, and value of ripple factor in full wave rectifier, that is equal to 0.48. So now what will happen here? This indicates that ripple contents in the output are 48%. So this is the merits and demerits of full wave rectifier over half wave rectifier. Means what will happen here? The advantage of full wave bridge rectifier over half wave rectifier, so that is basically efficiency. If you are talking about the efficiency, so efficiency of half wave rectifier is 40.6, and if you are talking about the efficiency of full wave rectifier, so that is equal to 81.2. So efficiency is double with respect to half wave rectifier, so it is a benefit of our full wave rectification. Again, if we are talking about the ripple factor, so that is also in half wave rectifier, ripple factor is very high, and if we are talking about the full wave rectifier, that is a half of the half wave rectifier. So it is also a benefit for us, and we have to further seen that efficiency is also double. So that is very good. But what is a disadvantage? If you are working on the, so full wave rectifier diode elements are more complicated and costlier. So with respect to half wave rectification, so this is the first applications of our diode in which we have seen about the rectifier. So basically, rectifier is a very important device in which you have to convert your AC signal into DC signal, because in present scenario, our electronic devices are not working on the much high voltage, and basically they are working on the DC supply. So you can convert your AC signal into the DC signal by using the rectification. Now second application is our Zener diode. So now what will happen? Zener diode. So before starting the Zener diode, you can see that there is a, so just we can say that diode. So diode, if we are talking about the diode, so it is basically a PN junction diode. So Zener diode is also a simple PN junction diode with slight modifications. So as we have to seen that our PN diode is either forward biasing or reverse biasing, and their characteristics are also, so we can slightly revise here. Yes, this is the forward biasing, reverse biasing. This is the VI characteristics. So VI characteristics of Zener diode is also similar to the normal PN junction diode. It is again, we can see there is a cutoff voltage, and we can slightly rise our forward bias current after breaking the depletion layer. This is the reverse bias current, and this reverse current is due to minority carriers, means these currents flow due to minority carriers. So what is the Zener diode and what is the role of Zener diode? If we are talking, so Zener diode is basically a normal general purpose diode, and it is also consist of a silicon PN junction. So when what will happens when we forward bias? So when Zener diode is forward bias, it will work as a normal diode. Okay, so there is nothing change, there is very slight change about in reverse bias condition, because our diode is Zener diode is working in a reverse bias voltage, and in reverse bias voltage what will happen, Zener diode exceeds the rated voltage. So when your rated voltage is exceeded, the device is reach into the process of avalanche breakdown, and at that particular time current starts to flow through the diode to limit. Okay, so your current will be rises extremely without any change in input, means at the constant voltage your value of current will be enhancing very much. So this is the basic reason due to which it is suitable for our voltage stabilizer. So now current flow through the Zener diode increases dramatically to maximum value, and once achieved that this reverse saturation current remains constant. So this is the reason a particular value the current rises to very extremely. So what will happen here? Voltage across Zener diode becomes a constant, because your current may be increases, but we is at this particular point our voltage may be stable, and this stability or called as a Zener voltage. And Zener diode, this voltage can range from less than 1 volt to few hundred volt. Means Zener diode can be designed in different ratings. Now again that's the point. What about the specific Zener breakdown voltage we can design, and we can accurately control the output voltage of Zener. That is a simple IV characteristics you can see here. Forward bias region, same as our ordinary diode. If you are talking about the Zener breakdown, reverse bias diode, the sharp curve we can see. So what about the sharp curve? We have done the high doping. Okay. So if you are making a Zener diode, so what points you should have to remember? Your diode should be basically very high doping. Okay, so when we are providing the high doping, we can achieve the sharp breakdown. So that is the symbol which we have to represent our Zener diode. It will just like a Z shape of plate, and that is the cathode current. Now we will see again. What about the voltage remains almost constant even with large current in current providing? The Zener diode current remains between. So now what will happen? What things we want to told you? The voltage is remains constant. The in spite of your current will be rises from IZ min, and its maximum current rating is IZ max. So this is the reasons by using this we can use this Zener diode as a voltage stabilizer. So ability of Zener diode to control itself can be used to great effect to regulate or stabilize a voltage source. Okay, means stabilize or regulate. So this is the two words which we have to use in a Zener diode, means it can regulate whatever changes is made in your input signals. If we have apply a Zener diode, the voltage across Zener diode will be constant. Means it can either regulate or stabilize our voltage source against the load variation. So this is the reason. Now the fact that voltage across the diode in the breakdown region is almost constant. So this is the characteristics of our Zener diode, which will make it a use in as a voltage regulator applications. So that is the basically Zener diode regulator we will use as a stabilizer in our PV phase mini devices. So again, if, what will happen here? By passing a small current through the diode from voltage source, a suitable current limiting resistor. So we have what we have to done, if we are increasing voltage certain a limit. So instead of rising the voltage, our current will be rises tremendously. Now we will see, this is a basic circuit diagram. This is a current limiting resistor RS. This is the Zener diode. This is the RL load resistance. Across the Zener diode, there is a VZ, that is a constant, and always we can maintain a constant. What type of input supply you can vary, that current will be vary according to our Zener diode. So in this path, always constant current will be provided. It's that particular state. Load resistance RL, that is connected to the diode or Zener diode. So voltage across the Zener diode, that is equal to the V output voltage. So there is a particular condition of your Zener diode. Resistor RS is connected in series with the Zener diode. So sometimes to limit the current flow through the diode, otherwise diode may be damaged. So we want to limit the current. So due to safety point of view, we connected a RS, that is a series resistance, in with the diode. Stabilized output voltage is taken from across the Zener diode. So if you are taking the output across the Zener diode, we will receive always the constant voltage across that diode. So that is the basically. So same thing is here. We have to apply a series resistance, reverse bias conditions, okay. And in forward bias condition, our diode is work as an ordinary diode. And when we apply the reverse voltage, then it will work in the basically voltage stabilization mode. So same thing is here, Vz equal to VL, as I have told you. That is again a circuit. That is a series resistance RS. We have to connect it. Zener diode packages. This is a basically Zener diode. This is a Zener diode circuit. You have given the unregulated DC input and you have received here the regulated DC input. This is the series resistance RS that control the maximum current flow through the diode, so it can be we can prevent it from damage from overheating effects. Now there is a numerical, so we will also see a very small numerical. So what will happen? You have to given the this circuit. You have given the input voltage 120 volt. R is equal to 5 kilo ohm. This is the Zener diode. This is the load resistance. Okay. This is the total current I divided in two part, IZ and IL. So that is a 50 volt and this is a 10 kilo. So you have to calculate the voltage across the RL due to EI. So what about the voltage? You can calculate from here. So that is the 80 volt, means your rating of your Zener diode is 50 volt and that is a less than of this 80 volt. So now it will start to working. So your Zener diode is greater than the what type of rating we have to provide it. So in this condition, your Zener is in the on state. So this is our again circuit. We have to solve it. This we have apply here 50 volts. So what is the difference between these two? Then we can calculate the current I. And now load current IL. You have to know the total current I. So you can calculate the difference of two. So you calculate the current to the Zener current. So this is the, so what type of signals you have to given, according to that you can find out the Zener current. Now we will see the light emitting diode. So what about the light emitting diode? As you can see the name, okay, light emitting means in this diode light is emitted. So basically we can see that it is basically a semiconductor light source that can emit the light, okay, when current flow through it. So that's the current will flow across this diode, there will be a light sources will be illuminated. So electrons in the semiconductor recombine with the electron holes, releasing energy in the form of photons. So generally what will happen here and why lights are emitted? So semiconductor will combine with the electron holes and it will release energy in form of photons. So our energy will be releases in form of photons, and these photons are responsible for our light. So color of light, either corresponding to energy of photons, is determined by the energy required for electrons to cross the band gap. So there is a semiconductor devices, so there is a band gap and it will cross the band gap. Now LED. So this is the different colors of LED. This is the symbol of our LED. Since these diode is emitting the light, so we will mark the arrow outside LED, and this is a basic diagram of our LED. Basic things are, they emit a narrow bandwidth of visible light at different color wavelength. Okay. Invisible infrared light for remote control. So we are using the invisible light for remote control. Or laser जो we use here. So generally basically we will generate a narrow bandwidth of visible light at different colors, and that is depend on the wavelength of our signal. So since our light emitting diode are made from a very thin layer of heavily doped semiconductor material, so you have to know that your semiconductor should be heavily doped, and that particular very thin layer of LED material is used in this particular work. Now you can see here semiconductor conduction band recombine with holes and valence band releasing sufficient energy. Okay, so what will happen when any conduction electrons or conduction band electrons want to return band to the valence band? So they will release their energy. Okay, and due to this, they produce the photons and which emit a monochromatic light. So this is the reason behind the LED. Because of this thin layer, a reasonable number of photons. So we have making the very thin layers. So reasonable number of photons can leave the junctions and radiate away from a colored light source. Now light emitting diode. So what type of materials we are using for designing or making a light emitting diode? So that is the gallium arsenide, gallium phosphide, gallium arsenide phosphide, gallium carbide, or gallium indium nitride, all mixed together at different ratios to produce a distinct wavelength of the color. The actual color of a light emitting diode is determined by the wavelength of light emitted. Okay, so how you can determine color? So color is response. So you can previously know that color is depend on the what type of signals wavelength are there. So that is depend on the wavelength of signals emitted. So this is the reason through which we can determine the different colors of. So basically now we will move to the photodiode. So what about the photodiode? So we can see here photodiode. So in our optical fiber communication we can see there are a uses of LEDs and photodiodes. So if we are talking about the transmitter section, so what will convert in a transmitter section of optical fiber? Our signals are transmitted in optical fiber in form of light के form में. So now LEDs work in the transmitter section of our optical fiber because it will convert the electrical signal into the form of light. So that is the LED. And what about the photodiode? Photodiode is again a semiconductor junction. But what will happen here when any light is focused on the photodiode? So it will convert that photon energy into or light energy into the electrical signal. So what will happen here? Photodiode has a reverse operation with respect to the LED. So what type of functions are performed in LED? That will be the reverse of our photodiode because photodiode is converts the light signal into electrical signal. Current is generated when photons are absorbed in the photodiode. So this is the reason, and this is also depend on the intensity of your falling the light. So this is the reason, and photodiode is also working in the reverse bias condition. So this is a very important point you have to remember. LED is working in the forward bias mode and photodiode is working in the reverse bias. And it is basically, if you are defining our photodiodes, it is just like a sensor. Means it will sense the light, and it will convert these light into the electrical signal. So that is the between p positive and n positive layer there is an intrinsic layer, and the photodiode accepts light energy as input to generate the electrical current. So it is also called as a photodetector. So photodetector is also called as a photosensor or light detector. So this is the photodiode. What will happen? What is the difference when we have seen the symbol of our LED? These two are direction of these two arrow are different. These two array at that symbols. These two array are away from diode, and now in this photodiode it will towards the diode, because in photodiode what will happen here, when any light is in, incident on the diode, it will absorb that energy and it will convert that energy into the electrical signal. So this is a basic working. The symbols of photodiode and LED are just opposite to each other. Now photodiode materials, if we are talking about the photodiode material, so that is the silicon, germanium, indium gallium arsenide, phosphide and indium gallium arsenide. So that is the different types of material which is used for our making the photodiode. So what is the basic workings? When light is made to the illuminate the PN junction, covalent bonds are ionized. What will happen when you are focusing your light to the PN junction? So now what will happen in PN junction? In PN junction, covalent bonds are broken. So when covalent bonds are broken, so there are generation of electron and holes pair, and photocurrent are produced due to generation of electron holes pair. So these due to breakage or due to availability of large electrons and holes, there may be photocurrent. So electron hole pair are formed when photon energy is more than 1.1 electron volt. So this is also a condition. इलेक्ट्रॉन होल पेयर्स तभी आपके जनरेट होंगे जब एनर्जी मोर देन 1.1 इलेक्ट्रॉन वोल्ट्स होगी. तो डायोड को that will be at particular time period it will be hit. So when photons enter the depletion layer, जब depletion layer में enter कर रहे हैं, it hits the atom with the high energy. So this is the reason कि when they are entering the depletion layer of diode and they hit the atom with high energy, so release of electrons from after the electron releases, free electrons, holes are produced. So in this way, phenomena is occurred and large amount of energy is generated. So this is a basic block diagram. This is a basic diagram of our photodiode. So just you can see lights are incident upon the junction of your PN diode. When these lights are focused on this, the covalent bonds of our semiconductor materials will be broken. And due to broken of these several holes and electrons, there may be flow of current. So this is the basic principle behind the photodiode. Photo absorption intensity. So what, how you can calculate the absorption, how much photons are absorbed by their surface, and photons energy are directly related to the each other. Means how much energy are absorbed by that particular surface, and photons energy, that is both are equivalent. When energy of photons is less, the absorption will be more. So this is the entire entry. So now what will happens here? Okay, so we can this entire process is known as a photoelectric effect. So we can also discuss here. So in last we can again conclude our photodiode is work as a detector. Means if light is incident on that particular photodiode, it will convert that light energy into again the electrical signals. And now by using the electrical signal, you can do the so many types of applications by using this. So this is the reason why we are using the photodiode. What is the LED? So LED and photodiode both are a very important device of our optical fiber communication. When we are working on the optical fiber, these devices are working as a transmitter and receiver, and you have to transmit these light energy signal into longer distances. So we have the LED as a transmitter and photodiode as a receiver. Now second option again, so LED and this one, and again Zener diode, so it will work as a voltage regulator, and these Zener diode voltage we will find in the our fridge, TV, and so on. So that is a Zener diode. So that is a voltage regulator. Means if there is a fluctuation, large amount of currents are giving the energy in form of up and downs are existing in that particular conditions, our Zener diode will stabilize our voltage. So it is also important point. Now we have also seen in the terms of rectifier. So you can see here how our rectifier will work. There are three types of rectifier: half wave, full wave, and bridge wave rectifier. So what is the, if we are working on the full wave rectifier, ripple factor and efficiency is not good, we have to switch to the full wave rectifier. But in designing a full wave rectifier, there is a center taped auto transformer. So the cost of these transformer is very high. So at present we are working on the basically costing, due to costing, it is very costly due to center tape transformers. So we have to work, or we have to remove these problem by using the four diodes in bridge rectifier. So bridge rectifier is also very important part, because we are using only four diodes and cost of diode is very cheap with respect to center tape transformer. And by using the transformer, and both two diodes are working in a same cycle. So what will happen in positive half cycles, two diodes are working, and negative half cycles, two diodes are working. So this is the reason. Due to this, we are using the bridge wave rectifier, because bridge wave rectifier is also important with respect to half wave rectification with center taping, because the cost of center taping transformer is high. So this due to this, we are opting the bridge rectifier. So according to your requirement, according to your applications, you can vary the different applications of our this one. So now we will slightly move to the objective questions, ki what type of devices Zener diode has, linear, non-linear. So you have to see what type of characteristics we are seeing. So we can see that in a normal phenomena, Zener diode is also work as a ordinary diode. What will happen? Zener diode has a breakdown voltage. So how you can calculate the breakdown voltage? So that is basically sharp breakdown, undefined, zero. So there is again a thing कि you have to prepare for making the Zener diode breakdown sharp. Because why we are making it sharp? Because we make a constant voltage. We don't want to change any voltage. So for designing a sharp voltage, what you have to done? You have to done the high doping of our Zener. So this is the reason. Main AC power converted into DC. So what will happen and which type of electronic components we have to require? Okay. So we can also know the value of ripple factor. There is the comparison of efficiency. What type of efficiency is given by your? Now we will see here a pure semiconductor. Now what will happen and what is the role of heat? Okay. So what will happen? Take an insulator. Semiconductor behaves like an insulator. There is no recombination. So that is, there is a reason. That is the efficiency and pure semiconductor and impure semiconductor. Because pure semiconductor, due to temperature. So now what will happen? At initial conditions, the all covalent bonds are tightly fitted with our atoms. So what will happen? At normal phenomena, they will work as a insulator. They are not easily moved to here and there. So this is called as a semiconductor behaves like an insulator at 0 degree Kelvin. So Zener diode is used in the forward bias, reverse bias. So there are so many. You have to know about the in which particular conditions our Zener diode is working. It will work as a forward bias or it will work as a reverse bias. And again, you have to represent the unit. So what type of unit we have to require in forward current? So in forward current, our unit is bigger. Operating voltage level for LED. So you can know LED is generally lighted up to 1.36, 3.3 volt. So 5 volt is also heavy for our LED. Full wave rectifier, the current in each diode flows from complete cycle of input cycle, half cycle of input, less than half cycle of input. So what is the full, what will happens when you are working on the full wave rectifier? Okay, so that is the our main application. So in this way we can see that our diode is a very important device in our electronics and communications. We have used our diode in many applications. Our diode is work as a switch, our diode is work as a rectifier, diode is work as a, or it is used in voltage stabilizer, it is also used in optical fiber communications. So there are so many applications of our diode. In future we can also use our diode in our inverters. So this is the applications of our diodes. It is a very useful devices. And now in our next lecture we will see what is the role of our transistors, because after diode we will switch to the transistor, because transistor is also made by joining the back to back connections of our diode. So that is basically, if you are talking about the transistor, so we cannot forget the diode. Basically, if two diodes are working simultaneously by connecting the back to back, then it will work as a transistor. And transistor is also a very useful devices. It is work as a amplifier, oscillators. So diode and transistor both are very useful and applicable in our electronics devices. So it is the all or in this lecture. In next lecture we will see about the transistors.